Welcome to Mom's Life Made Simple, the podcast for moms who want to go from chaos to calm, from overwhelmed to organized, and to find balance between family responsibilities and personal growth. I'm your host, Chantel Nielsen. Let's make mom life simple. Hello and welcome to the Mom's Life Made Simple podcast. I'm your host, Chantel Nielsen, and I'm joined today by Chantel Matthews. Chantel, welcome. So glad to have you today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Yeah, it's good to see you again. Chantel and I know each other in real life, which is often not the case with people who I podcast with. So that's really fun. Chantel, she is, if you're not following her on Instagram, you definitely should be. She is super fun as she teaches moms how to be healthier. I'll let her introduce herself, but one thing I want to say about her really quick is just her brand is so much fun. And if you do follow her on social, you will know that she is known for her dance moves. This girl can dance and it's so much fun. In fact, that is where I first met Chantel was she came to a church activity and taught us Hawaiian dance.
Yes, that's so right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, many years ago.
We did a little hula.
That's right. Yeah. So I'll turn it over to you. Tell us anything I missed in that. Give us a short bio.
Yeah, absolutely. And before I do that, I'll just say I love what you do, Chanel. Honestly, I'm like, this is exactly what we need. I think as moms, we overcomplicate things so much, and then we feel so much overwhelm in our system, and it's kind of so I love that there's people like you, and I love everything that you stand for to help moms make it more simple so that they can show up in their home and in this world in the best way possible.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, so I am a certified health coach, personal trainer, nutritionist, and I have a program called Mom Bod Reset. And I also consider myself a neuroscience nerd. I love to talk all things about the body and brain connection and learn more about it. And it's just like totally part of me. So that's a little bit about me.
I love that. Well, it comes through. I think what you do so well is you learn all of that stuff, but then you share it in a way that is really relatable for people who aren't neuroscience nerds, right? So it's like for everyday people who don't maybe want to go that deep, you have the depth of knowledge there that helps people to understand what they need to do. And so I think that's really powerful. So let's go ahead then and jump into our topic today. So first question for you is, why is being healthy part of a simpler mom life?
Oh my gosh, this is so juicy. It's a good one because it's everything. Like, honestly, the way that we feel, our energy levels, our health, our overall well-being affects everything that we do. And that obviously includes how we show up as moms in our home, in our community, how we serve others, how we're even able to listen to our kids. So it is honestly everything.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. So with that very broad idea of it being everything, how do you define health? And I want to ask this because I think it's sometimes when we hear health, our brain says something different. So I just want to get clear on what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I love that. So a lot of people think about just weight loss, right? How do I lose weight? What's that number on the scale? And to me, it's so much more than that. The number one thing I'm looking at is like, how do I feel in my body? Do I have enough energy to get through this day, to show up for my kids, to serve in the community? So it's a lot to do with the energy. That's how I see it, through the day. So my hope is to help moms and your listeners to show up, to feel energized, and to just live better and better every single day so that they can show up in the best way possible.
Yes. Okay. That's so good and so important. And that is something that we all want. And sometimes we think health equals weight.
Right.
And yet you can be at a healthy weight and not feel good and have energy and all the things that you just talked about. And so it's interesting. It's important that we have that correct definition of what we're talking about. So Let's go ahead then. Next question for you is, what do you wish moms knew about their health that they don't know?
Mm, I wish moms knew that it doesn't have to be so complicated. I truly do, that it doesn't have to be complicated and it's totally possible for you to feel more healthy, to feel more alive. I think, like I said in the beginning, that we tend to overdo and run and overcomplicate and feel that overwhelmed. And I just want moms to know, like, it doesn't have to be so complicated for you to experience more energy in your body, to even lose, the few pounds or whatever it is. Like, it gets to be way more simple.
Yeah. Okay. I do think it does feel complicated for a
Yeah.
lot of people. So let's
Yeah.
go ahead then and give us some specific tips, 3 specific tips, simple things that moms can actually do, can implement to start improving their health.
Yes, so good. And I love that we're talking not just about health, but it's like your overall energy and fitness and with all of that
Yeah.
inside it.
All of it.
Yes. So I'm going to start, because the neuroscience nerd in me, I want to start with the brain. So, one huge tip, this is so simple, but so impactful, is starting with more conscious language, right? So,
Mm.
right now, if I were to say, what's your workout today? Or how am I working out today? I don't know about for you or your listeners, but like for me, when I say that word workout, it's like a dread. Like, oh my gosh, how like this go hard or go home. And like that's just not me all the time, right? So switching that from like, or even those words from workout or even exercise to body movement is huge. It's like, I don't know about for you, but for me, it opens up way more. Instead of saying I have to work out today, it's like, how am I going to do body movement today? What's my body movement for this week look like? Like, just that subtle shift is huge.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, even just the energy, the way that I feel when I hear that word, I do like working out, but there are certain times when it feels like a chore. It's
Mm,
the same, it has the same in my mind, like, go do your chores, go do a
yes.
workout, right? It's that same energy of like have to do. And movement, I think, because it incorporates so many things. Of course we want to move. Of course we want
Right.
to move. Maybe we don't always want to work out, but we
Mhm.
want to move. So I love that. So what shifts have you seen? What does this conscious language do for people that you work with?
Yeah. So just like you said, that have to, it's almost like pulling teeth, like, oh, like you have to work out. And so when you're feeling like that, feel that dread, you're going to act in that way. Your behaviors are stemmed off of that feeling. And so you're going through this workout with this almost dread behind it, this almost dread energy. And so when I shift that language with my clients from workout exercise to like, hey, what's your body movement today? It kind of opens up the possibilities of like,
Yeah.
huh, you know what? Maybe I'll dance today. I love to dance. So
Yes.
maybe I'll do that today. Or maybe I'll go for a walk while my kids at practice today. Like, what is my body movement? How do I choose to move my body today? So it's just taking that dread to a nicer light where it feels a little nicer in the body and you'll act differently.
Yeah, that's so cool. So any other ways that you use this idea of conscious language?
Everything. I'm still learning and catching myself daily, but it's words like the have to, instead of that, it's like I get to. Um, Another example would be trying. Even saying the word
Mhm.
trying is like I'm trying to do that instead of say I'm working on. So it's just those subtle shifts. There's
Yeah.
actually a book about it too that your listeners could find. It's kind of a hard read, I would say, but it's conscious language. And it makes an overall shift in the mind and in the body, and then therefore the way you behave and act.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. All right. Moving on then to tip number 2.
Yeah, tip number two is an interesting one because I think it has to do with accountability. And I think we have it in our head that habits and accountability is one way, like everybody's the same. And it's not the case. Like everybody has a different type of personality and a way that they will form and keep habits and stay accountable. So each client for me is different. Like it's so fun to experience and try to see, like, oh, they like this, they like that. And so I would recommend to your listeners that they think back to a time where they were like on it and they stayed accountable and they did the thing. Like, what was
Yeah.
happening? Did you have a coach? Did you have a mentor? Did you have a trainer? Was it a group setting? Was it like, for me, I love check, 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 like the
Same,
checklist, you know?
same.
So
Yes.
gratifying. So I create something so visually stimulating, and like Canva or something like that, like a tracker where I can track off that body movement
Yeah.
for the day. Check, check, check. And like I personally stay more accountable when I have a coach or a mentor, personal trainer that's just pushing and challenging me a little bit more, as opposed to a workout buddy. I would like to call that. It's just personally for me the best way to stay accountable. So just figuring out how you personally stay accountable and start to implement that starting like now.
Yeah. That's such a good thought, because it is very easy to have really good intentions of what we're going to do. I know anytime I like overindulge in whatever, and that night, like, I just don't feel good. I ate too much, whatever, ice cream or whatever it was, and I don't feel good. Well, tomorrow I'm going to do this, 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 and this. Like, I get all these big plans, but do not have any form of account. If I don't have any form of accountability, it just doesn't happen. And
Right.
so I think that we can see a cycle of that. I think is pretty common to get in that place where, like, I just want to do something different, but without that piece of added accountability, it doesn't always stick.
Oh my gosh, so true. Absolutely. And just figuring out what those little tweaks are for you. Like, are you a checklist person? Are you a paper to pen? Like, I'm old school at that. I have my little notes here in a journal. I love that. And so, just looking at those different ways that are so helpful to you along the way of your journey is a huge, huge, simple tip.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm the same with paper and pen. I actually love the physical, like checking it
Yeah.
off. And there's something to that. And that really does help to keep me accountable. So I think that's a good one to understand, that even if it's internal, even if you're only accountable to yourself,
Mhm.
what added little thing of like, okay, I'm looking at, like you said, this
Yeah.
beautiful visual thing that I made, but it's an empty square until I go and do the thing and check it off. And just knowing that, just that little extra thing helps me to do it. And for some people, it might be that external. I once was in a coaching group where we had accountability partners, and what we needed to do, it wasn't health related, but it was a really cool form of accountability, was in the mornings, we would text each other our big three for the day. What are the three things you're going to do today? And at night, we would say, I did 2 out of 3, 1 out of 3, 3 out of 3. We would let them know. And I felt like I didn't really need this. Like, I got my
Mhm.
check boxes. I'm good. I'm going to do
Yeah.
what I set out to do. But I did find that added level of accountability, things that I might have like, I'll just push that off till tomorrow. I did not push off till tomorrow, because I knew that, this other woman was going to see, and I wanted to be a doer. I wanted to get 3 out of 3. So
Yeah.
whatever,
You want to see all
accountability
those
is so
checks.
helpful. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. Let me ask you, do you sometimes write in things that you already done just to check it off?
totally. Right. Like it helps
Yes,
you, because you're like, I know I did a bunch of stuff today. Oh yeah, I did that. Check.
I love it. Yeah,
Totally.
same for me.
That's so
So
funny.
I actually have two more tips if that's okay.
Yes, please
All
go ahead.
right. So another tip that I had was honoring the season that you're in.
Mm,
Oh my gosh, this is so huge, right, Chanel? Like, honestly,
yes.
a lot of your listeners, I'm sure that this is probably like the busiest season for them. We have so much going on
Yeah.
that if we're trying to do this crazy, overcomplicated like process, it feels overwhelming before you even get started on like a body movement plan, for example, then it's likely not going to stick and going to happen. So a tip would be just honoring the season that you're in and like looking at your schedule, like what's realistic for me at this season. And maybe the season is just like sports season, whatever it is, and you can adjust and move on as you go. But maybe for a listener in a crazy busy season right now, it looks like a 15-minute walk with the dog in the morning in the sunlight, and then like a little body movement plan while their kids at practice outside. It's like being a little
Yes.
creative and honoring the season that you're in. So
I love that example because that seems so doable. And it goes back to this conscious language. If you're like, okay, I have to go to the gym, get in an hour-long workout, that's like, I don't know. But what you just said, I need to move today. I want to move today. So go on a walk with the dog. And then while my kid's at basketball practice, I'll go, walk around the gym, do some push-ups out in front, whatever you want to do. But that just seems very doable and manageable, even for a busy mom.
right. And the thing is, I think a lot of women think that it has to be complicated in order to see
Yeah.
results. And it's not true. We're kind of debunking that with my clients, I'm debunking that all the time. It doesn't have to be complicated.
Yeah. I
It
love
doesn't
that.
have to take an hour and a half every day, in this high intensity, go hard or go home atmosphere. Unless that's what makes sense for you, works for you, and you
Right.
love.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
part of honoring the season too, right? If you are in
definitely.
that phase, then go for it if that's what you want to
Yeah.
do. So that's a great thought. And then you have a bonus tip for us. So
I
tip number
do.
4.
Yes. This restrict. So when it comes to nutrition, if somebody's just starting out, they're like, I literally don't know where to start with my nutrition. I don't have time to meal prep, count calories, weigh my food, count macros, like all of the
Yeah.
things in the world that overwhelm the system even more. Start adding, like thinking about what can I add today to my body to give my body fuel, to give it energy. And when you start thinking like that, that's more of this conscious language, asking yourself powerful questions. What can I add? Your brain will start to scan for those things. And you'll start to reach for those things more throughout your day versus, and a lot of people have experienced this, when you tell yourself, I can't have this, what happens, right? We know that like that's all we can think about. And it's like, I got to have it at the end of the day. So if
Yeah.
you're just starting out, just ask yourself that question every single day. Like, what can I add today versus what can't I have today?
That's so good. That is so good. I am going to ask you to say right when I went to tip 4, it glitched and I don't
Okay.
think it recorded. So if you'll just say, I got the main message, but I think the first thing you said was like add, don't restrict or something like that.
Yeah.
If you'll just say that, I'll go back and edit it and put it back in. So
Okay. Yeah. So tip number 4 would be to add and not restrict when it comes to nutrition.
perfect. Okay. I think that is key. And I know that's been key for me when I used to be in health. That was kind of the way that I got into the whole online space, was health and nutrition. And I always taught that principle of crowding out. And the idea that as you fill your belly with the good stuff, you're too full for the other stuff, and you don't want it because you've had this nutrition. So this concept of add and not restrict is powerful. It's powerful.
Oh,
And yeah, it's powerful mentally, and then physically it does so much for us. So do you have any examples or case studies or anything of either yourself or people you've worked with who you've seen this make a difference for?
absolutely. I can say with like 100%, every single one of my
Mm,
clients get some sort of benefit, because what this does is it starts to build the habit. So if you're going from zero, like not really knowing exactly what to do, and then you get on this complicated thing, and then you stop after 2 weeks, like, oh my gosh. But if you start, and I will say a lot of women have a hard time with this because we want it. For some reason, we feel like it has to be complicated.
Yeah.
And so when they start with adding, and then the next week I'm adjusting it and adding, something else and something else. And then it's building this habit. And over time, they're like, holy crap, like I went the whole day without, all of that craziness by simply adding. It totally
Yeah.
does mindset shift in the brain.
Oh, I love that you are helping women to do that. I think that's so powerful and truly it just such an important work because so many pieces I heard in there. One is we're afraid to trust our bodies. We're afraid to do that because, like, we think the fact that you said we feel like it needs to be complicated. It's like, oh, well, I don't have any intuitive knowing. I need a specific plan that tells me exactly what to do because I certainly couldn't come up with what to eat and have good results. And so I love that you're teaching. There's a piece there of trust that's in being built in there, and then building habits. That's one of the things that I love to talk about. Could talk about habits all day because that makes it stick. That is what's going to be long lasting. If you're following a specific plan that someone else mapped out for you of like, in the morning, you're going to have half a grapefruit and, some cottage cheese, and it tells you everything what to eat. Well, what happens on the day when you don't want that? That's not a habit to do what someone else told you to do. I love
Absolutely.
your approach so much.
Oh my gosh, you're speaking my language, Chanel. Yeah, I love this so much because I want, like what you said, I want moms to be able to trust themselves, but also to just know that it's possible without all of the drama, as I like to say,
Yes.
without, Sally's plan down the street. It's like,
Right.
what's going to work for your body? So,
Yeah.
yes, this is
Yeah.
all so good.
So good. Well, tell people where they can learn more about you, learn more about Mom Bod Reset, and definitely where they can see your dancing.
Oh my gosh, love it. Thank you. So I'm at Instagram. Mostly that's my jam is on Instagram at Miss Chantel Matthews. And that's Miss with an MS. And then if you just want a free training and kind of glance at my website, it's mombodreset.com.
Okay, perfect. I will link to those. And to finish us off, how has everything we've talked about, figuring out all of these pieces of health, of habits, how has that made your mom life and the moms that you work with, their lives more simple?
It's in so many ways. I think the main thing is taking these big, big ideas, and this is something you do so well, and like making it in bite-sized pieces where it actually feels good to your body. It works with your schedule, and to not go into these overwhelmed stress states first thing. Like, I think it just helps moms before they get to that breaking point. I think we often want to make these changes after we're flat on the couch, like super sick or whatever it is. But if you start implementing these small, simple shifts now and like daily and tweaking, it's going to make all of the difference. And you'll be able to show up for your family, for your community, like serve others in a way bigger way.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. That's so good. That's what we all want. So thank you, Chantel, for being here. Thanks for listening to Mom's Life Made Simple. Need some help making your mom life simple? I offer group coaching programs using my 4-step method called the Mom's Method. This is a process of manifestation, organization, mobilization, and simplification that will give you the balance, progress, and joy you're looking for. Visit ChanelNielsen.com or go to bit.ly/Mom Life Book to get your copy of my brand new book, Stop Putting Yourself Last. I love to hear from you, so reach out with your questions, your feedback, and let me know how I can help make your mom life simple.